Canada is currently in the midst of a massive housing crisis that has made the price of real estate and of rent skyrocket over the past couple of years. But what if I can tell you that there are currently multiple ways that exist to help you to buy your first property? This is what you'll find in this video, where I'll make a quick overlook of what are the main measures and programs offered by the Canadian government to help you as a first-time home buyer. But first, when we look at what is the average price of a house in Canada in 2026, we can see that at the moment it is currently sitting at close to $700,000. Obviously, you can understand that this will highly depend on the markets in which you want to invest and to buy your first property. For example, you won't really be able to find something interesting less than $1 million in both Vancouver and Toronto. But if you prefer to come over here in Quebec City, houses are currently trading around $450,000 to $500,000 in average. But for today's video, we'll take the hypothesis that we want to buy an average house in Canada for about $700,000. Well, since the house price surpassed $500,000, it means that you need to put down at least 10% as a down payment. So for a $700,000 house, it represents $70,000 that you'd put as the down payment. Keep in mind that this is only the initial amount of money that you'll need to put and to give to the bank if you want to buy the house, but this doesn't include all the other fees that you need to pay, such as the notary fees. So in that case, a great question that we could ask would be, what are the different measures and programs offered by the government to help us to reach this down payment? Well, the first one would be the First Home Savings Account, aka the FTHB. This new program, founded in 2024, gives the possibility to first-time home buyers to put annually and to contribute up to $8,000 per year, up to a maximum of $40,000. And when you want to withdraw this money, for example, for your down payment, all the interest and all the money that you'll have in it will be fully tax-free, with the characteristics of the RRSP, where you can deduct all the amount of money that you have put in this account on your tax bracket. And knowing that you could keep your FHSA open for 15 years after the initial first year of opening, it means that this could help you greatly to reach this $70,000 down payment that would be required in our scenario. But there is also one other program that can be combined with your FHSA, which is the RRSP, or the Registered Retirement Savings Plan. Indeed, with the Home Buyers Plan, you have the possibility to withdraw up to $60,000 per person or $120,000 per couple to use it as your down payment for your first house. And the great thing about combining both of these programs is that you can easily reach over 20% of your down payment by combining them together. And this can easily help you to save for the premiums that are charged by the CMHC when you have a mortgage with a down payment of less than 20%. But keep in mind that all the money that you'll have withdrawn from your RRSP in the homes buying plans will need to be re-put in this RRSP in a time lapse of 15 years. If you're a first-time home buyer, you could also be eligible to the first-time home buyer GST and HST rebate. Indeed, this initiative that was proposed for between 2025 and 2030 aims to eliminate the GST, or the federal portion of the HST, on new homes for first-time buyers. For example, for houses of $1 million, you could be eligible for 100% rebate on the GST federal HST portion up to a maximum of $50,000, which represents this 5% taxes. This is also important to understand that this maximum rebate would gradually reduce once you reach the interval of between $1 million to $1.5 million house. And once you surpass the $1.5 million threshold, you won't be eligible for this rebate. And the last great measure offered by the Canadian government is the first-time home buyers tax credit, aka the HBTC. This measure allows eligible buyers to claim up to $10,000 for a qualifying home purchase, resulting in a 15% or $1,500 tax reduction to help offset closing costs, such as legal fees, inspection, and land transfer taxes. However, keep in mind that this credit can only be claimed claim the year of the purchase on your tax report, and you can find it on the line 31270 of your federal income tax return. There are also other smaller measures that can be offered depending on your situation, such as municipal and provincial tax rebate, where provinces such as Ontario currently offers a $4,000 tax rebate, where a province like British Columbia is currently at $8,000 for the same tax rebate. There is also the Indigenous Housing Funding that seeks to help Indigenous people to be able to buy their first house. But now that you've found what are the best ways on how you can use different programs and measures to build up your initial down payment, it can be interesting for you to see how you can optimize your mortgage. If you're someone looking for smaller housing payments every single month compared to what is proposed by the initial term of 25 years amortization on the loan, well, you'll be happy to know that since the end of 2024, the Canadian government has offered the possibility to have some 30 years amortization terms on your loan. But these loans are mainly available for first-time home buyers that are building new or that are buying some different properties across the country. But the particularity is depending on your case, you might have to put 20% of down payment. However, personally, I am not a big fan of this strategy because the additional 5 years that you add on your term will have a massive impact in the total interest that you'll be paying. Indeed, if we take the initial scenario where we want to buy a $700,000 house that has an amortization term of 25 years with an interest rate of 5% paid on a monthly basis and with a down payment of 20%, it means that you can expect to pay about $3,273 per month for this mortgage with a total interest paid after 20 years of $422,000. When you put this loan on a 30 years period, we can see that your monthly payments would drop to about $3,000 per month, but these additional 5 years will have cost you over $100,000 of more in interest payments, which would bring your total to about $522,000. Personally, my take on houses is that even if it is better, in my personal opinion, in most cases to be an owner compared to being a renter, I don't necessarily consider that buying a single house that you live in is considered as an investment. Obviously, you need to live somewhere and you obviously make some money when you decide to sell the house if you hold it for a certain period of time. But unlike a Plex, an house will not bring you cash flow and it will be the opposite. In fact, a house will only be something that will bring and that will take all of your money, for example, for your mortgage, for your taxes, payments, for insurance, and for other different unexpected expenses. And it is why it is important for you to be able to afford the house. And in that case, I believe that it is better for you potentially to stay on a 25 years loan mortgage compared to being on a 30 years loan mortgage, especially if you have some high interest rate. But on your side, if you're looking to find my own personal story on how I've been able to buy my first triplex back when I was 24 years old in 2023, well, check out the video. That's gonna be right over here, and I will see you soon. Peace.